Hi, I'm Mark Steber, Chief Tax Information Officer here at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. Today we will cover the top 7 tax basic tips and terms that can save you big money and help you get an even bigger tax refund at tax time. Specifically, I'll explain the difference between a tax credit and a tax deduction, what is and who qualifies as a tax dependent, and what a tax refund really is. So tax tip number 1, learn key terms, tax words, and tax phrases. During tax time, towards the end of the year when late tax laws are being proposed, and even now during our election cycle when all the candidates are proposing their own tax plans, you probably see tons of different tax terms and phrases being thrown out and about, and maybe you even recognize or know a few of them. Learning the key terms and tax phrases like tax credit, tax deduction, income tax withholdings, exemptions, and adjusted gross income, just to name a few, can be key in helping you get a bigger tax refund, avoiding confusion on a key tax issue, and key to saving you money at tax time and all throughout the year. Tip number 2, what is a tax deduction? You've probably heard this term your whole life, but what does it really mean to take a tax deduction? Taking a tax deduction on your tax return simply means you're going to reduce your taxable income that's subject to income taxes by taking that deduction. When it comes to the main deductions, you can either take the standard deduction, an amount preset by law for all taxpayers, or if it's larger, add it all up, you can take your itemized deductions, a total of specific deductions such as medical expenses, mortgage interest, certain income taxes, property taxes, charitable donations, just to name a few. You add all of those up, and you take the larger of the two. A misstep here could cost you dollars. So see a tax pro to help you figure out which option will benefit you the most. We see it every year in the world of taxes. Tip number 3, what is a tax credit? A tax credit is perhaps one of the most valuable items on your income tax return because unlike a tax deduction, it actually reduces your taxes owed dollar for dollar, making it more valuable. And sometimes it's even refundable, meaning if your income is so low that you don't owe income taxes, you can still get these dollars in the form of a tax refund. To recap so far, deductions reduce your income before you calculate your taxes. Credits are a dollar for dollar reduction in taxes, meaning a dollar of credits worth a dollar of benefit. And a dollar of deduction simply is a dollar reduction of your income. Tip number 4, who is and what is a tax dependent? A tax dependent is someone associated with you or your household or your family and someone you typically provide support for. Typically, a dependent is your child, but it can also be other family members. And there are many tax benefits associated with the number of dependents on your tax return, from larger credits to lower tax rates to other beneficial tax positions. Tip number 5, what does it mean to get a tax refund? Well, simply a tax refund is great news at tax time. You get money back and you don't owe. This money is either from an overpayment of taxes throughout the year through withholding or estimates, or it's from a refundable credit, like earned income credit or the EITC, for example. But regardless, a tax refund is money coming to you versus the dreaded balance due. Tip number 6, are tax refunds really good? This question is highly debated, but I personally believe that tax refunds are good for most Americans. As I just said, tax refunds can come from an overpayment of taxes throughout the year or tax credits. But I believe it's better to be in this situation than to be hit with that surprise tax bill that you aren't prepared to pay come April 15th. According to the IRS, for nearly 20 years, 75% of taxpayers, or 3 out of 4 taxpayers, have received a tax refund, and they can't all be wrong. Also, tax refunds can act as a sort of savings tool. And unlike some savings accounts or plans that are hard to access, a tax refund is saved throughout the year and can be spent wisely when you get it. Tip number 7, what does a tax balance do? Well, a tax balance due is kind of like it says, balance due money that's due at tax time, typically as a result of not paying enough taxes throughout the year. But regardless, it's not something to panic about. There are many options to get this taken care of carefully and easily. But it boils down to the fact that you do owe money and will eventually have to pay. At the end of it all, knowing these common tax terms, words and phrases, and others can help you understand more about the tax system and your taxes, and make better, more informed decisions about your money, and hopefully get you a bigger refund at tax time and certainly avoid some confusion. To learn more about all of these terms and more, visit jacksonhewitt.com and schedule an appointment today with a trusted Jackson Hewitt tax professional.